President Trump, as part of his Liberation Day tariffs, at 15% instead of 30% as he had originally threatened. And in exchange, the EU agreed to meet many of his demands that would help favour US exporters. But that deal had to be approved by the European Parliament. And now a senior member of that body has said that it will be suspended until the threats over Greenland and the tariff threats are over, saying there is no room to compromise on that. President Trump has threatened 10% tariffs on all EU goods beginning from the 1st of February and then rising them to 25% if Greenland is not owned by the US by June. So clearly we're already seeing major ramifications from this crisis that has been triggered by President Trump's demands for Greenland. And we are, it seems for now, headed deeper into a potential trade war between the EU and the US, Diane.
Karen, some of America's closest allies are warning that Trump's push for Greenland could shatter the NATO alliance. Now the president's set to hold a meeting with NATO Secretary General this afternoon. What are you watching for there?
I think the president is going to likely repeat his claims from his speech today in Davos, where he said that NATO countries, in his view, wouldn't come to America's defense, which, of course, ignores the fact that that exactly happened after 9/11. And Denmark, in particular, was there to support the United States in the war in Afghanistan. The president will be sitting down with the NATO Secretary General, who has a tough task now, where you have several critical U.S. allies in NATO who are pushing back. France today saying that they want to see NATO military exercises in Greenland. And as Patrick was just noting, the threat from the president of those additional tariffs on those 8 NATO countries is still out there at this point. But the president, again, Diane, had said he wants to negotiate immediately with world leaders on the issue of Greenland, but he's also not indicating he has budged even in the slightest from his position on this. So it's not clear what there is to negotiate or what he'd be trying to convince the NATO Secretary General and other leaders while he's there in Davos.
And Patrick, President Trump says he thinks Russia and Ukraine are reasonably close to a deal. And he says he plans to meet with President Zelensky either today or tomorrow. Where do those negotiations stand now?
Yeah, Dan, this was notable. The president a little while ago said that he does believe he's going to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tomorrow in Davos. It's interesting because President Zelensky had been due to attend Davos, but so far has not appeared and had been saying that he did not think he necessarily would come. He said that he would not come because he was focusing on the aftermath of a major Russian attack yesterday. But it was widely suspected that the real reason was because he didn't believe that it would necessarily be productive and also potentially even counterproductive because of the confrontation over Greenland. But the President Trump suggesting that he will meet Volodymyr Zelensky tomorrow. President Trump's key negotiator, Steve Witkoff, is also then due tomorrow to travel to Moscow to meet with Vladimir Putin. So there does appear, again, to be some diplomatic activity, but it's still very, very difficult to see Vladimir Putin agreeing to the deal that has so far been on the table, Diane.
Karen Travers, Patrick Reevell, thank you both.